welcome everybody once again. I have the special privilege today of being joined by Laura Hafner, and Laura is well known in healthcare and in the X-ray community, and she 4 weeks ago took the position of Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Tri-Imaging Solutions. Laura, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Phil.
So Laura, how are things where you are? How are people dealing with the coronavirus?
Well, I live in Utah right at the moment, and we've kind of settled into a nice routine. I think everyone's being responsible and safe and wearing their masks out in public places and keeping socially distanced. But I think you see people starting to get a little bit anxious about having things come back to normal, where they can spend time with their friends. I have small children, so it's always a constant challenge to keep them at arm's length from their friends and kind of understand the gravity of the situation and how it's important to be safe right now.
Yes, I know that you've just taken on a new position 4 weeks ago. So how you took this position during the middle of the pandemic. What's it like being the person in charge and being remote?
Yeah, a very interesting time to start a new job, I have to say that. But I was actually working with the Tri-Imaging team for a couple months as a consultant because I had my own business prior to taking on the full-time role. I think I'm working with Wanda Legate, which I think most people probably know her. She's been around for a very long time in the space as well. And Wanda eventually just said, Laura, with all the work that we have for you, why don't you just come to work for us full time? And I took her up on the opportunity. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster. We've been doing lots of conference calls and Zoom meetings. This week, I actually had the chance to make it down to Nashville for the first time since I've been working for Tri-Imaging Solutions. First time to the office, first time meeting a lot of our colleagues. So it was good to kind of have some face-to-face time with the team, but it's definitely a challenge to try to start a new role and really dig in deep and get acclimated as a remote employee.
Now, I know that you've worked for a number of major corporations, so you have a very broad view of the world. What do you think about how the pandemic will impact short-term and long-term healthcare?
Well, I think it really depends on what space you live in. I think that for Tri-Imaging Solutions, we've been doing quite well. As strange as it is to kind of profit from some of the things that have going on, that we've seen the business have an uptick in sales during the time of the pandemic. I think overall, I think some of the virtual office visits are good things, and I think it'll help expedite healthcare for people overall in the future. And I hope that kind of activity continues. But I think in general, I think the healthcare business is going to recover. I think that people still need to have their elective surgeries, and we're just going to adopt some new ways of going to hospitals and some safety practices going forward. I don't think coronavirus is going anywhere anytime soon. And I think we're just going to have to adapt to kind of a new way of going out in public and interacting with other people.
As a country, as businesses, a lot of the country and the states and the municipalities have built up a lot of debt. Will that have an impact on healthcare delivery and sales of new equipment, in your opinion?
I think it's inevitable that there's going to be a lot of impact for the economy. As far as how it's going to impact healthcare, I don't know that I have that crystal ball as far as what is going to happen. I think that people are still going to get sick. They're going to still need healthcare coverage. If we have to remodel the way that our country specifically delivers healthcare, I think that's been a long time in the coming to kind of do some reform there. But what that looks like, I'm not quite sure.
Well, we wish you luck in your new position. I'm sure that, you've been successful everywhere you've gone, so I'm sure you'll be successful there. And Wanda is a lovely person and fun to work with, I'm sure. So thank you very much for joining us, and keep us up to date on what happens.